Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Elodie Gutneck. I work at Mercator Ocean as modeler in marine biogeochemistry. I'm going to talk about the use of BGC Argo to validate BGC models with a focus on the North Atlantic Ocean. In the last decades, the ever-increasing pressure of human activities have led to significant changes in marine ecosystems, with phenomena such as acidification, coral bleaching, eutrophication, deoxygenation, harmful or noxious algal blooms, regime shifts in plankton impacting the whole ecosystem. These phenomena cover a wide range of spatial and timescales, from local and short timescale up to global and long timescale linked to the climate change. These phenomena are closely related to the alteration of the marine biogeochemistry. Our ability to quantify these phenomena and predict their future evolution depends on a mechanistic understanding of the biogeochemical cycles of carbon, oxygen, and nutrients, but also on the dynamics of plankton and how they are changing. Ocean biogeochemical models describe the base of the marine food chain, typically the plankton. Unlike the Navier-Stokes equations, for physical models, there is no known fundamental laws defining biological behavior. The formulation of biogeochemical and ecosystem models is based on empirical relationships to describe processes such as primary production, grading, mortality, or remineralization. In addition, the scarcity of in situ data critically limits our capabilities to constrain model parameterization and to improve model performances through a robust data model comparison exercise and data assimilation to correct model state and parameters. For these reasons, the incorporation of the biogeochemical component of the ocean in forecast systems started later than the physics and had not reached the same level of maturity. However, such systems are expanding rapidly and start to provide indicators of ocean health useful to scientists, policymakers, and environmental agencies for the prediction of events mentioned before, the management of living marine resources, and they can support the decision-making process to respond to environmental changes. In the framework of CMEMS, Mercator Ocean has developed two operational systems for the biogeochemical component. They cover the global ocean and European waters. They are based on Pisces biogeochemical model, with a quarter of a degree configuration for the global and 36 of a degree for the regional configuration. Each produces a multi-year retrospective simulation, real-time conditions, and up to 10-day forecasts for the main biogeochemical variables: chlorophyll A, phytoplankton biomass in carbon, oxygen, nutrients, primary production, and surface partial pressure of CO2 and pH. Until recently, validation of biogeochemical models relied on gridded datasets such as ocean color satellite data. They offer a global, high-resolution, frequent, and real-time data, but they are restricted to the ocean surface. We also used climatologies such as GLODAP or WorldOceanAtlas that are monthly or annual three-dimensional average distribution. They offer global and large-scale view of the quality of the system. The second kind of data are single-point databases or regional databases. And they allow process studies, but for a particular region. However, the rapidly expanding BGC Argo network offer opportunities for significant advances in the development and improvement of analysis and forecasting systems, with simultaneous profiles of chlorophyll A, nitrate, oxygen along the float trajectory that can be complemented by a neural network. This database gives access to the seasonal and interannual variability. We are thus able to understand the ecosystem dynamics in the subsurface layers. They allow the computation of statistics and more process-oriented metrics at global scale. Here is an example of classical evaluation. To the top, you can see the mean distribution of model nitrate to the right and compared to World Ocean Atlas climatology to the left, here at sea surface. Black, purple colors show very low concentrations in most parts of the ocean, and green, yellow colors show high concentrations in the equatorial Pacific and high latitudes. The agreement between the model and the climatology is quite satisfying at large scale. Now, moving on the use of single-point databases, such as the WOS section, to the bottom of the slide. Here is the section of nitrate that crosses the boundary between the subtropical and subpolar North Atlantic gyre from WOS database to the left and the model to the right. The surface is poor in nutrients, while the deep ocean is rich. It seems that the model is not able to reproduce correctly this low nitrate pool in subsurface. Simulated nitrocline is too shallow. This induces more nitrate inputs in the euphotic layer and then more production. Another example of classical evaluation, here a global ocean color satellite product is used to access the climatological and large-scale surface chlorophyll A distribution. To the top, we can see ocean color product to the left and the model to the right, with a log palette. We can see that the agreement between the model and ocean color data is quite satisfying at large scale, with depleted oligotrophic gyres and the richer coast, equator and high latitudes. Still with the gridded datasets, we are able to study the seasonal cycle of chlorophyll A with an Hofmöller diagram to the bottom in the North Atlantic at 30 degrees west. So an Hofmöller diagram present in x-axis the time, here 10 years, and y-axis latitudes along the section. The upper diagram is for satellite and the bottom diagram is for the model. The figures show that the Northeast Atlantic bloom in the model has a satisfying triggering and a correct northward propagation. The contractions and extensions of the gyres are also correctly represented. However, the bloom starts too southerly in the model, it moves faster to the north, and it doesn't maintain enough in summer in the subtropical gyre. But to improve the seasonal cycle of chlorophyll A in the North Atlantic, we need to understand the vertical dimension. So, to complete the analysis, the BGC Argo floats allow us to understand the temporal evolution of the vertical dynamics. First, let's go to the Mediterranean, to the right of the slide. To the top, the time series show surface chlorophylla for the model in black and ocean color in red. Here, the seasonal cycle is reproduced by the model. The middle figure and the bottom show respectively the chlorophyll A and oxygen distribution along the float and the model equivalent. The blooms start in spring after a strong winter mixing. During summer, chlorophyll A maximum develops to the subsurface and it is associated with an oxygen maximum. This seasonal evolution is observed in the data and also in the model. Now, back to the North Atlantic, to the left of the slide. The bloom starts earlier in the model and moves to the subsurface during summer, while it is able to maintain to the surface in the observations. This model behavior is still under study, but BGC Argo floats are fundamental to better understand the seasonal evolution of the ecosystem and improve the model. By completing BGC Argo measurements with neural network, we can plot time series of process-oriented metrics. Here, mixed layer depth, chlorophyll A, nitrate, silicate, and phosphate in the productive layer. The model is in yellow and the data in blue. The seasonal cycle is typical of the North Atlantic bloom dynamics. Timings of minima, maxima, and bloom onset are correctly represented. However, the bloom doesn't maintain enough in summer, and nitrate and phosphate stocks in the productive layer are not enough consumed, while silicates are correctly reproduced. Several hypotheses are being studied, and for this purpose, we are currently setting up a one-dimensional configuration of the model, which allows to follow the float trajectory. Here, the same figures, the data is in blue, the one-dimensional version is in red, and we can see it reproduces the behavior of the three-dimensional model version in yellow. We are now going to optimize the model parameters or model parameterizations in order to get closer to the dynamics described by the BGC Argo. The analysis of seasonal time series of multiple metrics and their interrelationships is a powerful tool to highlight and understand biogeochemical processes. Another example of the use of BGC Argo, here to evaluate the improvements between two model versions in a specific region, for example, at the western boundary of the Mercator regional domain. Here, the vertical profiles along one float. The data is in blue and the model in red, and the previous system to the middle and the new system to the right. So the improvement is clearly observed, and this is a nice use of BGC Argo data. As presented, point-by-point model data comparison is a direct way to use BGC Argo data for the validation of models. It is a powerful tool to better understand biogeochemical processes, improve model parameters, and deepen the evaluation of models. Publications already highlight this use of BGC Argo. Because this dataset has already a significant spatial coverage and a sufficient number of profiles, it is already possible to calculate statistics and sophisticated metrics at global scale. By complementing the existing BGC Argo dataset with estimates of nitrate, phosphate, silicate, dissolved inorganic carbon, as well as pH and PCO2 from the neural network Canyon B, Mignot et al. Has defined process-oriented metrics to synthesize the performance of a model. They correspond to depth average quantity or depth of a particular feature. They are associated to ocean carbon uptake, ocean pH, the biological carbon pump, such as the concentration of chlorophyll A and nutrients in the productive layer, the depth and magnitude of the deep chlorophyll maximum, the depth of the nitrocline, or they are related to oxygen levels and oxygen minimum zones. We can produce maps of all metrics, associated bias and RMS difference. Here, to the left on the slide, is the nitrocline depth. Top is the float, middle from the model, and bottom is the bias. This kind of figures allows to detect agreements and disagreements between model and observation. For example, in the bias map, I circled an area where the nitrocline depth is too shallow in the model. This might reflect a problem in the position of some water masses that we detected from a site study in a comparison to Worth section at the beginning of my presentation. But please also have a look that please also note that some areas are still clearly undersampled or not sampled at all. Anyway, To the right is a Taylor diagram to graphically indicate which matrix is the most realistic. It has the advantage to synthesize the basic statistics, correlation, RMS difference, standard deviation for all metrics on a single diagram. For instance, we can see that the model is doing well for the variables linked to the biological carbon pump in green. Let's now have a look to the impact of the model evolution on the quality of the product. This is a comparison of the previous and the current version of the global model to the BGC-ARGO dataset for 4 quantities of interest: chlorophyll A and oxygen and nitrate in the productive layer, oxygen in the surface, and oxygen at 300 meter depth. Statistics are computed at global scale over 3 years. Squares relate to chlorophyll A, circles to nitrate, and triangles to oxygen. The yellow star relates to the reference dataset. The code color is red for the previous simulation and green for the new simulation. Here you can only see the statistics for the previous model system, so in red. And now the new one. The upgrade of the operational system shows an overall positive impact on all quantities. This is a very satisfying result since we compare here to an independent in situ dataset. In conclusion, the observations collected by the BGC-ARGO program offer new opportunities for biogeochemical modeling. The spatial distribution is already satisfactory, but some areas are still clearly undersampled. But we are already looking forward to having a full coverage of the ocean in the coming years. BGC-ARGO data are already used to improve model parameters and parameterizations. They are also used to point-by-point model data comparison, especially for regional studies, or process-oriented metrics for global validation. And they allow to access rapidly the strengths and the weaknesses of a model simulation. Finally, to finish, BGC-ARGO is already and will be, when the array is fully developed, a game changer to validate and improve biogeochemical models.